So it's like I said, I've been trying to tell you on here. Yeah, and sometimes I get a little bit dramatic. But that's just how it is. That's how I express myself. Sometimes we have to express ourselves like that to get heard. And I'm not afraid to do that. If you don't like it, fuck off. Fuck off. I'm going to be myself whether you like it or not. Just click right on out and don't come back. What I'm trying to tell you, though, is that, guess what, Jesse? For your information, FYI, you are not the only person who has been mourning the death of your dad. I don't know how many times I have stood here in my house and even at work. I went to my jobs and I have just cried my eyes out over losing him. Because Jerry and I, we finally connected after my whole life of not understanding him, never having him around. I have a picture here. This was back when David and I lived on Aztec Court. Jerry had just gotten out of jail and he needed somewhere to stay. Hope that's coming in clear. This is him sitting on my couch. He needed somewhere to stay and he needed a shower. And I let him stay at my house for a couple of days. This is a very cherished picture of my brother. And I have another picture of me and him, and I don't know where it is at the moment. But I put it online. I've been able to put it up online, and it's where he's picking me up. And we're standing together in my living room at the same house, the same duplex on Aztec Court. And Jerry and I, now, like I said, I let him stay with me a couple of days, but I had to get him to go because Jerry had a different lifestyle and I had a teenage son. So I needed to separate that out. So I did. I didn't like having to do that. But that's just how it was. I wasn't going to have drugs and all that stuff in my house. So that was like back in, 96? That was when I hadn't been in that apartment for very long, that duplex for very long, out in East Independence. And I wanted to have a friendship with my brother. But I had to send him away, and then I didn't see him again until I lost that place 9 years later. I don't know where he was. He could have been in jail the whole time, and then when I ended up having to live with Jan, I don't even think it was that late. I don't know. I had probably when I gave Jan the Taurus. And so more to say about that, but another time. But Jerry had got out of jail at that point too. And you know, Jerry had been out of jail for close to 20 years. And I think that he deserved just a tiny bit of credit for that. You know, for him to be able to stay out of jail. And you know what? His personal life is not your business. What he was doing in his personal life, how did that affect you exactly? How did that affect me exactly? It didn't. And to be able to see through that and know people have the right to do what they want to do. You can't sit and judge people. Something that was always hard for me with Jerry was how he was a witch. This was Jerry's. Oh, Janessa was nice enough to give me this. Only because she didn't want it. And because people don't understand what it means. I finally reached a point in my life when I was separating out from the Jehovah's Witnesses back in That was back in 2011, 2010, 2009. That was when I was separating from Watchtower. My daughter had told me that I was being brainwashed. I took a lot of things she said to heart. And that was when I was finally getting an opportunity to get close to my brother because I didn't have any kids around. Living on 40th Street, 40th and Chrysler, and Jerry lived on the other end of Chrysler down there close to 23rd Street in that apartment, that duplex. It was just gorgeous. I just loved that place. And I was happy to see that he was able to get in there. But Jerry had a way of looking at things that wasn't solid. You know, when you make a commitment to pay rent, the landlord wants money. They don't want you to do maintenance work for your rent. That's not how it works. I couldn't stay here all these years that I've been in this house for the last 7 years. I could barter, but I'm not going to do that. That doesn't pay my electric bill, okay? But Jerry and I finally connected when I was on 40th Street because I was disconnecting from Watchtower, and I had come up with a new way to vent. I was able to find people that were interested in my story, and they couldn't get enough of it, and it was very therapeutic for me. And Jerry had been talking to me about his experiences and his belief in witchcraft. And I had finally reached the point where I was able to open my mind and listen to what he had to say. And it made sense. You know, the Druids and the times when the witches were the ones who were putting they were doing all the mortar work for the churches. What, like in England? All those gargoyles all over the churches and the demonic looking stuff? They were having the witches put those figurines up all over the church, all over the, you go online and if you search, you can find these artifacts. And they're still in existence today, and that was their place. And he was explaining to me the history of where those things came from, the belief system, and what it means. And I was able to somewhat embrace that because I was done with Watchtower. I needed something new. Jerry was a backdrop for me. I was able to let go of that stupid religious cult because of Jerry. I was finally able to have a relationship with my brother without judging him, who he wanted to be friends with. He was friends with Laura. And I was grateful that she took him in, that she opened her home to him, opened her life to him. Why? Because his family wouldn't. Jerry got nothing but rejection his entire life. And I got really tired of that. And I knew that I had to keep a wall up because we know that Jerry had his survival mode going constantly. So I want to let you know that I was very disappointed with this. You see this? I was very, very disappointed with this. They put a shitty picture of him up. And the words they said on here. Gerald Farrell passed away on Thursday, January 9th, 2025 at the Country Club Care Facility in Warrensburg, Missouri. Jerry was born July 4th, 1957 in KCMO to Marilyn Farrell. He was raised in Independence, Missouri by parents Jack and Marilyn Farrell. Jerry was an accomplished mechanic handyman. He was also in a hurry to help his friends, family, customers. He excelled at helping those who had very little money to fix mechanical issues. He will be missed by everyone who loved him. Jerry lived with his two beloved cats, Angel. Jerry is survived by his children, Jesse, Farrell, Janessa, Out Kursky, and his many grandchildren, Jesse, and all these. They don't mention anything about Deanna. They don't mention anything about Jan. And they mention nothing about me. You know, I felt like, what the fuck? And it's shitty writing anyway. Look at that stupid picture. Couldn't you come up with a better picture than that? And it was made by Jennifer. Like I said on my pages, I have a long little essay about Jennifer and her family, her parents, and how her parents treated Jerry. Mom told me quite some years back about Jennifer's parents and what they did to Jerry. And I was really surprised that Jerry seemed to have such a fondness for Jennifer after what her parents did to him. I had a glimpse of Jerry actually having a little bit of happiness in his life back in 2007. I heard him through the wall when we were both staying at Mom and Dad's back then. He was on the other side in the shop area, and I was on this side where Mom's crafts were, and I was working on some things for my new business. And I heard him on the phone dispatching trucks in this truck line for his boss, the owner of this company named Mac. What May It Be is what the name of that company was. Correct me if I'm wrong. What so may be, or what may be, what it may be, whatever the name of that business was. And her parents came in and just took over and flipped Jerry off like a booger, like he didn't matter. Biggest insult of Jerry's life. This is the kind of crap that Jerry put up with his entire life. I saw his anger. But Jerry wasn't one to show anger all the time. He was a very calm, very sweet, loving. I mean, he always forgave me. Anytime I did anything to upset him, he would forgive me. Because Jerry was a very gentle soul. He used to tell me that he was pure in heart. And I didn't realize till later, you know what? You're right. You are. Jerry wouldn't hurt a fly. Kind, sweet, compassionate, selfless, and anything but haughty, the exact opposite of arrogant, humble. Probably one of the most humble people I've ever known. This is all the better she could do on his fucking memorial. That's all the better she could do on that. Now I'm kind of sidestepping away from this issue with Jesse, because Jesse really pissed me off. But the thing is, it probably wasn't Jesse that did it. It was Janessa. Because like I've said, I don't even know if Jesse even knows about this. He wasn't supposed to know that Janessa told my daughter that I made Jesse mad. So my apology wouldn't matter anyway. Some of this stupid shit that happens, I was going to say, the situation kind of gives me this weird feeling that I used to get. I used to have this boyfriend who lived in Kansas, and he did some really bizarre things. I mean, he would accuse me of things that weren't happening. He would accuse me of having some kind of a fling with my perverted ex-husband because I needed some mechanical help on my car. And so he just assumed that I was fucking my ex and decided that he couldn't trust me. And it's like, I didn't do that. The frame of my car had swooshed up this way. It was on my little my little Plymouth Sundance, and it needed to be pulled back, but I didn't know that. So my ex took and he grabbed it and pulled it back this way and got it in place. And he would do other little things around my house to help me because I was a single mother. I couldn't afford jack shit, and I needed some fucking help. And so this guy who lived too far away and had no idea about cars, he gets all jealous and mad because he blows this thing out of proportion. And then he even planted a pair of underwear, men's underwear, in my laundry and folded down a page in my phone book on one of his friends' last name's page. And I'm still trying to figure out to this day, was it him who did it? Or was it my ex who did it? Because it was like a mind. It was just psychologically fucked up. Because somebody's playing head games. Either trying to get you to confess something or trying to get you to feel like shit. You know, and that's what this thing feels like. She's going to come back and tell my daughter that I said something that upset Jesse. And I can't even apologize to Jesse. I don't know where he lives. I'm not going to ask for his phone number. I'm not going to find him on Facebook because neither him or neither him or Jennifer are even on Facebook. Jesse doesn't even know that Janessa told us what he said, that he was pissed off about what I said, which I have already brought up on other videos on here. You'll have to watch them to see it. But to pounce on me like that, why? What were you trying to accomplish by bringing that up, Janessa? It's just that some of the things that people do, because they don't stop to think about the repercussions from it, or they want those repercussions from it. So it's like I said, Janessa is friends with Deanna and friends with Jan on Facebook. And everybody else in the family, everybody from Linda to Billy Wilson to Carl Wilson, if Carl's even on there, I haven't seen him, and Johnny Wilson, who, by the way, your music sucks. I've listened to your music, and it sucks. No wonder you can't make it to fame. There, you've got your first critic. I think your music sucks. If you think you're going to be another Clint Black, you're wrong. You'll never, ever be another Willie Nelson. So hang it up. Your music is junk. So, for people to do stuff like this, first, number one, you're talking to somebody who's 20 years older than you. Putting an older person down, thinking that that person needs correction. Thinking that because I said this to your brother, I need my hand slapped. Oh, she needs to be punished. She needs to be grounded. She needs to be told that she stepped out of line by saying that to my brother and hurting his feelings because he's the only one with feelings in the family. I don't care about your little squirt little brother. I don't care about your feelings, Jesse. Not when you're going to be a little boo-hoo crybaby like that. I don't like sensitive people. Crybabies. I never see you. You're going to come up to me and fucking hug me in my front yard when you brought the piano over. Why'd you even bother to do that? If you're going to turn around and stab me in the back when you don't even know me, what, are you scared of me, Jesse? Are you scared of me? You know how easy it would be to burn you down, honey? Yeah. It would. But I'm not like that. Aren't you lucky? Aren't you lucky? That's why you're so private, isn't it? Next video, please.